parents gave me away. I was a year old. I was reunited with them. I was 5, 6. Again, I can tell you my life story, but I'm not sure how much it is true recollection or which it was told to me. You know what? It really doesn't really matter, because I was fortunate enough that my parents could fill in those spots.
Please describe what happened with your Catholic nursemaid during the Holocaust, because it's a fascinating story.
Well, I was very privileged, very lucky. It was a miracle. My parents came across a woman who could barely read and write, a woman of faith, for whom another life was sacred. Maybe if she was very sophisticated, maybe if she was very tutored, maybe if she measured the risks, somebody else would be sitting here just answering your question. For her, it was an act of human kindness. It was an act of faith. She was saving another life. I don't think she realized that for 4 years she would be protecting me. For 4 years she would be risking her safety. Because in Poland at that time, if you were caught harboring a Jew, there was a bullet for the Jew and a bullet for the person who harbored you. She gave me a new identity, she gave me a new name, baptized, and she protected me. Protected me because, as I learned later, of hidden children, 95% of hidden children were girls, were female, not male. Because it was much easier, less of a risk to protect the female, because males were circumcised. And so I created a problem for her that she could not leave me out of sight, even as a 2-year-old or as a 3-year-old. In fact, I learned that many of the boys who were hidden children were raised as girls, because it was just easier to protect them. So she, every day of her life, she faced possible risk. There was a bittersweet ending to it. My parents survived, and that's another long story, and when we were reunited, basically my parents said to her they lost all the members of their family, we will now be a family of 4, and at that point she said, no, I saved him, he belongs to me in the Catholic Church. And there were a series of trials, custody battles. It was the first custody battle in occupied, liberated Lithuania, depending how you want to deal with it. And the Soviets ruled, I belonged to my parents. We were repatriated to Poland, she followed, I was kidnapped, my parents kidnapped me back, we smuggled the borders. When I got older, again, learned to understand what it is that I have lived through and survived. I remember I asked my father if she loved me so much, to the extent that she risked her life, why at the end was there so much hate? And I remember the wisdom which I didn't appreciate then, but I only appreciated many years later. My father said to me, everything in excess is no good. Too rich, too poor, too smart, too stupid, too thin, too fat, too tall, too short, too much love, and excess can trip and turn into hate. And so the sad part of it was that here's a woman who risked her life to save me, and at the end, I never had the opportunity to say thank you to her. My father smuggled out pictures at the fear that we could have been held back at the border when we were smuggling the borders out of Poland. And when again I asked him why he did it, and he said to me, I wasn't sure whether he would remember her. And I wanted to make sure that forever and ever he would remember her who she was. So it was a bittersweet ending, but if not for her, I wouldn't be here.